For those who may not know, I am not the biggest fan of live action remakes. In fact, I made that statement very clear in my review of the live action Lilo and Stitch. However, this film is one of the few exceptions that I can accept. So How to Train Your Dragon is a live-action remake of the beloved 2010 animated classic film, How to Train Your Dragon. The film is directed by Dean DeBlois, who also directed the animated trilogy, and it stars Mason Thames, Nico Parker, Gerard Butler, and Nick Frost. I hope I said the director's name correctly. Knowing me, I probably didn't. I'm sorry. On the rugged Isle of Berk, a Viking boy named Hiccup defies centuries of tradition by befriending a dragon named Toothless. However, when an ancient threat emerges that endangers both species, Hiccup's friendship with Toothless becomes the key to forging a new future. So if you've seen the animated film, this movie is quite literally no different. Like genuinely, it's quite literally the same movie. That is one thing that threw me off about this movie. It is damn near a clone of the animated classic, with a few minor additions and changes, but nothing that overall changed the arc of the story. The reason why I'm not too fond of Disney live action remakes is because a lot of them just feel soulless, lifeless. In fact, some of these live action remakes kind of disrespects the source material. But not only is this movie a spitting clone of the animated film, it pays respect to its source material. It's almost like if you respect the OG material, people will like it. People will show up. But then again, this remake could have been ass and people still would have popped up because, ladies and gentlemen, people have an unhealthy obsession with nostalgia. But that is a conversation for a whole nother day. The production and the visuals are breathtaking. This entire film is a visual odyssey. Like, my God. The village feels rich and alive. The costume designs are authentic. And even the dialogue is on point. The production team put in so much effort into this film that it feels like Berk is an actual place on this planet. Thank you for using on-site locations. I'm not sure where they filmed it exactly. I could be wrong, but I believe parts of it were in Iceland. And the visuals of the dragons were immaculate. Toothless looked fantastic. The other dragons looked fantastic. The monstrous nightmare looked like an actual monstrous nightmare. Even the final boss dragon looked terrifying. Like, that is the type of shit you would see in your nightmares. If I was there with the warriors, best believe I would have been the last person off that boat. I'm not fighting that. No. I kind of like how, and I'm using this term loosely, how realistic the other dragons look compared to Toothless. The other dragons look like living and breathing creatures, but Toothless just looks like a cartoon dragon, like something that a kid drew up and brought to life. And that's not to say his design wasn't great. No, the design of Toothless was incredible. But I kind of like how Toothless looks a lot more cartoonish than the other dragons. Not a big deal, but just something that I've noticed. And as you could imagine, the entire cast was fantastic. Mason Thames was riveting as Hiccup. Not only does Mason look like a spitting image of Hiccup, but he truly embodies the personality and the character of Hiccup to a T. After his performance in The Black Phone and in this film, that kid is going places. I need to know, what did the director say to Gerard Butler to get him to return to reprise his role as Stoic? For those of you who may not know, Gerard Butler voiced Stoic in the animated film, and he plays him in live action. And he looks perfect. Gerard Butler already has a powerful voice, and in this movie, he truly embodies Stoic the Great with his even more powerful presence. I love that. I love when directors get the voice actors to play the same characters but in live action. To me, that is a beautiful thing to see. I just love it. And I think it's funny because I feel like Gerard Butler could have easily phoned this in. In fact, I feel like the entire cast could have phoned this in. But no, every single actor and actress plays their part to the fullest. Casting Nick Frost as Gobber is an S-tier casting choice. I feel like out of all of the actors, Nick Frost had the most fun with his performance. His delivery, his cadence, everything resembles Gobber to the fullest. I'm about to give y'all a real spicy take, but hear me out. I like Astrid more in the live action remake than I did in the animated film. Before you get your pitchforks ready, let me explain. I still think Astrid is a great character nonetheless, but if you go back and look at the animated film, in the first half, she was immediately dismissive of Hiccup. She kind of lacked pity for him. Granted, yes, she's a lot more focused on becoming the next dragon warrior. I think that's what they were called. Dragon Slayer? I don't remember. Something like that. But in this film, when we see how Hiccup is trying to understand more about Night Furies, Astrid at least tries to hear him out before essentially walking away. Like, I feel like Astrid kind of shows a bit more heart in the first act of the film compared to Astrid in the first act of the animated film. Also, I feel like her warming up to Hiccup was a lot more deserved and better executed compared to the animated film. But that's just me. But I thought Nico Parker was fantastic, and she really did the character of Astrid justice. And to you weirdos that are complaining about Astrid being played by a black woman, who is mixed by the way, mind you, just remember, dragons are not real. Vikings did not train dragons to ride them. And remember, this is a kid's movie and you are a grown-ass man. Like I said in the beginning, this movie is damn near a carbon copy of the animated classic. I'm talking beat for beat, word for word, bar for bar. There were moments where a scene would come up and I would immediately predict the next line. Even most of the jokes are the same. The jokes in that animated film were so good, they brought it back for the live action remake. That's how you know you made a banger of a film, when they're bringing in jokes from 15 years ago. The scenes where Hiccup and Toothless are flying through the valleys and through the mountains were astonishing. Those scenes were so unbelievably satisfying. It's like being on a legitimate roller coaster going at 160 miles per hour. I kind of want to go watch this movie in 4DX now. Those IMAX scenes where the aspect ratio changes as it goes into full IMAX. This is why I love movies. There is a lot of heart, care, and joy in this movie. The same magic from that animated film is very present in here. And I didn't think that was possible for a live action remake. I kind of thought this was going to be like an average or a mediocre film at best. A mediocre film that would fail to capture the sauce of the animated classic. But ladies and gentlemen, I was proven wrong. I also enjoyed the father and son dynamic in here compared to the animated film. It felt carved out and crafted better, and the payoff was way more rewarding. But in the end, guys, the live action How to Train Your Dragon was a banger. The joy is there, the soul is there, the comedy is there. This movie is how you do a live action adaptation. So to Disney, don't be soulless, be soulful. So plugging How to Train Your Dragon. Into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pinnacle zone. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for How to Train Your Dragon. Let me know down in the comments section below what you guys thought about the film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What is one animated film you would love to see in live action? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comments section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all in the next one.